On this week's episode of Bayou Wild TV,
Swordfish are awesome deep water pelagic fish. So they have these channels that run down the bill, and they're full of fatty tissue, and they're also really oily, like a salmon, so they can stay warm.
Increase your odds, you have to go as many times as you can, and that's just part of the game. It's always an uphill, whatever, challenge. That's what I love about it.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Global Outdoors. Find your next adventure and share your experiences with others by downloading the Global Outdoors mobile app or visiting globaloutdoors.com. Every day, we strive to preserve traditions that have spanned generations.
Around every turn of the bayou, Mother Nature reveals unique people, places, and experiences.
and the bounty of animals and fish. Well, in Louisiana, we just call that lagniappe. I'm Don Dubuque.
I'm Chris LeCoq.
I'm Captain Martha Spencer. Join us as we document the adventure,
Sportsmanship,
and heritage that make us Bayou Wild.
It's been probably over an hour and a half. When we just let him swim, he swam straight to the buoy line, which was a decent ways away. So we're under the impression that it's tangled somewhere. There's still 20 pounds of lead on the fish, so he's got a lot to fight against, which might work to our benefit in that he might be wore out. But we still have to get both leads off and the purple light that's on the long line clip. So Cathy's tag teaming it with me. It makes it a little more complicated, which why would anything else happen? Cathy was that special client that fishes with bite all the time, and she is absolute proof that there are no limitations for fishermen, fisher women, fisher children.
I got started fishing with my father, real young. Loved it, loved spending time with him, loved being on the water, loved watching the other fishermen. The whole thing was just very exciting to me.
I first met Cathy when she flew to Louisiana with her charter captains from the West Coast. Little did I know that I'd be fishing with an internationally accomplished angler, and that we were headed into the roughest seas of my early captaining career.
I was lucky enough to get invited on that. So that's all it was. But I did fall in love.
Now, having fished with her on both coasts a half a dozen times, I've learned she's a true big game hunter, and that is her fishing niche.
Increase your odds, you have to go as many times as you can, and that's just part of the game. It's always an uphill, whatever, challenge. That's what I love about it.
She takes it seriously, she's passionate about it, she loves exploring new places, and she is literally a role model for people that want to try something, maybe at a different point in their life, or maybe something that's different than they grew up doing. But she is exactly what we love to see in the outdoors because it is for everyone. I've been lucky enough to be a part of several large catches with Cathy. And I knew just the person to call to immortalize her first plus-size mud marlin from the Gulf of Mexico.
I mean, I think my signature stuff is how I treat the bill. So we all have our own different style, and we all have our niche, and we all do what we like to do.
Coming up on Bayou Wild, immortalizing your swordfish bill into beautiful art with Inga.
In Louisiana, we live to cook, and we know a little Louisiana flavor brings any meal to life. Whether it's Friday's fish fry or Tuesday's crispy chicken, with Louisiana fish fry, you can turn any meal into a bona fide family favorite. Let's all Louisiana.
This is Don Dubuque asking you to join me as a member of the Coastal Conservation Association. For 30 years, CCA has worked in Louisiana to conserve our incredible fisheries, making sure that our fishing is great today and for generations to come. Whether looking out for redfish and specks, eliminating gill nets, building reefs across the coast, or work at the state capitol and in D.C., CCA is doing what's best for the fish and the sport we love so much. Your $30 membership will ensure that this work and our great fishing endures well into the future. Go to ccalouisiana.com and join CCA today. Louisiana Wildfowl Festival is October 22nd and 23rd at the Castine Center at Pelican Park in Mandeville. Over 2,000 hand-carved and collector decoys and other stunning wildlife by world champion carvers. Compare your favorites with judges who award over $45,000 in prize money. Buy outstanding wildlife and wildfowl art at Sunday's auction. Live decoy carving and painting at the Louisiana Wildfowl Festival, October 22nd and 23rd at the Castine Center in Mandeville's Pelican Park. Visit lwccg.com.
One of the reasons why Double D has been around for 50 years is because we are consistent with what built the business. And we go to great lengths to make sure that when you bring a deer or a hog or whatever it may be, your meat stays your meat all the way through the process. But we want to be as true to the original intent, which is a local meat company. And that's something that we want to maintain for as long as the Lord lets us do it.
In Louisiana, we live to cook, and we know a little Louisiana flavor brings any meal to life. Whether it's Friday's fish fry or Tuesday's crispy chicken, with Louisiana fish fry, you can turn any meal into a bona fide family favorite. Let's all Louisiana.
Morning, Inga.
Hi, Captain Martha.
Got you another sword bill.
Thank you.
We are here in Mandeville with Inga Falterman. She is a wonderful artist, and she does all the scrimshaw work on the swordfish bills that you see coming out of Venice and really all over the country. So a lot of folks have been asking me how you go from a swordfish bill to the art that she does, and today we're going to show you that process.
Inga Falterman is an artist who sees the beauty in nature, and she keeps her art very authentic. She's published drawings in LSU veterinary schoolbook texts of billfish in their infancy. She's carved art into deer skulls and done photography at the North Pole, but perhaps is most well known for her custom swordfish bill engravings.
I have some homemade tanks, vertical tanks, so I save on water. So the best thing you can do for your bill when you catch fish is keep it immersed or frozen. Swordfish are awesome deep water pelagic fish, so they have these channels that run down the bill, and they're full of fatty tissue, and they're also really oily, like a salmon, so they can stay warm.
Over the last 8 years, Inga has received sword bills from all over the country, even some international. From smaller fish off someone's first catch to 4-foot bills off some 400-pound fish, she's perfected a method of painstakingly cleaning the biomatter off the bills, making them pearly white before any art is done.
This looks like, you know, the biology class jars with the pigs in them. And all the...
You know how I found that? It's like I need, and I tried to fashion, so acetone will eat plastic, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, what do I put them in?
Is it glass?
Yeah, and so I tried to make, I got a gutter, and I tried to make this long tank for the acetone, and it evaporates so fast that it didn't work. Mm-hmm. So I'd just be losing acetone, so I needed a small opening. So it's a wedding vase.
Oh, okay, that's smart.
For some fancy wedding.
Yeah, some tall.
Okay, so the acetone brings out the oil, so they get a little orange on top. But acetone's great because it's the final and complete degreaser.
Yeah, you can see how smooth it is now.
Without compromising.
It's basically a giant jar of nail polish remover.
Yeah. Usually when this gets white, when the flesh just comes off, that's what stinks.
From her smelly swordfish soaking tubes, this labor of love is a multi-step process, which includes discussing how a customer chooses to decorate their bill.
Sometimes there's some splotchiness. You can see how this gets real warm in the middle and then it gets whiter again. So I can put the whitener on after the carving and it doesn't compromise the carving because it's not water-based. it's peroxide based, and there's other acids in there too. But the bone behaves like wood.
Okay. How long does it take? I mean, obviously every bill is different with size, but for a larger fish like this, from the sketching to from sketch to finished engraving, how long does that typically take? Or a range?
The drawing out can be, I mean, I get sort of particular sometimes, and so it can be like an hour or a little bit more, and then I wait for the client to say, yeah, I like it, and if they don't, then I switch it up for them, so that can be
a pencil then?
Yeah, an eraser. I'm like, you got to be honest. If you don't like it, it's your bill, so just tell me, I'll start all over again.
Growing up, my grandfather actually had 2 swordfish bills in our house, and I still to this day have no idea where the fish was caught, who caught it, or where they came from, but I always kind of remembered having them in my house. So fast forward 30 years or so, and here I am, a charter guide. I had seen some art from other artists around the United States that engraved swordfish bills, and it became a fish that I sort of became obsessed with. They're one of the most powerful fish in the Gulf of Mexico. They're aggressive, they're mean, and they always give you a challenge. And every fish is different. But after seeing some other artists across the region, I wanted to see if there was somebody more local that engraved bills, and we found Inga, who's actually got a huge following. Swordfish bills at the core are made of bone, and her detailed engravings don the walls of homes and camps across the globe. You've been an artist probably your whole life, and you do oil paintings, and you do print work, and you do swordfish bills. What got you kind of into working with nature and with bills and engraving? And you've worked with some deers, you've done some engravings on deer skulls too. What's gotten you into like the natural world that way?
I've always lived a life that's pretty close to being outside without being archaic, I guess. Cave woman. But so even my early work before moving down here, it always has to do with land. Geography is very important to me, and how we live with it and live in it. And I respond to the different places that I live pretty emotionally. And the swordfish bills, it's kind of a bread and butter deal. I enjoy it immensely. I like carving. I like doing things three-dimensionally in my printmaking background. So the swordfish bills are kind of just a new turnaround for relief printing, I guess you can say. It's this relief work that I like. And then my oil painting is geography based. It's how we react to the landscape, and I think the landscape shows us how conflicted we are in a society. So a lot of my work that deals with Louisiana is looking at the landscape and how impenetrable it seems, and I want the viewer to want to go further into the painting.
It's been a pleasure every time I catch a fish and tell a customer about how I preserved a bill of my biggest fish, that maybe they want to do it too. And it's just a really organic and unique way to preserve a memory, not just mounting a fish, not just showing the exact fish, but kind of just seeing it evolve into a different piece.
Delta Marina is Plaquemines Parish fishing one-stop. Get live bait, fuel, ice, tackle, and marine supplies. Then launch into the world's most productive saltwater fishing. Return to the fishing cleaning station, relax in first-class cabins overlooking the bayou, all in Delta Marina's safety video-monitored parking lot. Need a fishing charter guide? Delta Marina can hook you up. Cook your catch in your kitchenette or dine in the upstairs restaurant. Visit Delta Marina for a day or a week. Stop in just off Highway 11 down Rosemarie Drive in Empire. Visit thedeltamarina.com.
Louisiana Wildfowl Festival is October 22nd and 23rd at the Castine Center at Pelican Park in Mandeville. Over 2,000 hand-carved and collector decoys and other stunning wildlife by world champion carvers. Compare your favorites with judges who award over $45,000 in prize money. Buy outstanding wildlife and wildfowl art at Sunday's auction. Live decoy carving and painting at the Louisiana Wildfowl Festival, October 22nd and 23rd at the Castine Center in Mandeville's Pelican Park. Visit lwccg.com.
We love our children. We protect them. We guide them. We prepare them for life in the world. With all that we do, from deep in our hearts, we cannot control all things. Life-threatening illnesses and disabilities affect far too many of our children each year. While we cannot change the circumstance, we can make dreams come true. Dreams to provide hope, to provide spiritual healing and strength, to provide moments of happiness and relief in the hardest of times. We can give a glimmer of light and hope in a time of darkness and despair. Join huntofalifetime.org to help make dreams come true, to provide hope for children with life-threatening illnesses and disabilities. Hunt of a Lifetime is a nonprofit organization fulfilling dreams for hunting and fishing trips to youth 21 and under with life-threatening illnesses and disabilities. Visit huntofalifetime.org to learn how you can make a difference.
We're here with Executive Chef Michael Johnson from LSU Athletics, the head chef for basically all the teams out at LSU. Today we're going to be cooking up swordfish, which is actually a very popular fish in Louisiana.
Fun to catch as well.
Absolutely, and I don't think a lot of people know how abundant they are in the Gulf of Mexico. This piece we have here was actually caught on the charter I work for about a couple weeks ago. It's one of my favorite fishes to eat. I think it's very versatile.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a very simple fish as well.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. You know, I like the texture of swordfish.
Absolutely.
It's one of the few pieces of fish that you can throw on a nice hot grill and it's going to tolerate it without falling apart. You know, you can poach swordfish. You can use a lot of different techniques with swordfish, and it lends itself well to many different types of dishes.
So how are we going to cook this today?
So we're going to start with a salsa verde, or it's kind of an interpretation of a salsa verde. This particular sauce, you know, a traditional salsa verde is only a few ingredients, but I'm going to put some other stuff into it that we wouldn't typically do. But the reason for it is I kind of stumbled into this sauce and necessity, if you will. I was working in Seattle for the Seahawks and ran out of parsley, and I need a green sauce that tastes good, so I started putting things together.
Experimenting. Sometimes that's the best way to come up with
Absolutely, yeah. Necessity is the mother of invention,
exactly.
I suppose. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to start by making our sauce.
That's right.
All right.
So we'll start with the parsley.
Okay.
We'll put some of that in.
How much is that? About 2 cups?
Yeah, it'll be about a cup and a half. I'm not going to use all of it, and we can add some more in. This is actually spinach, and the reason I use spinach is if we put too much spice into it, garlic, shallots, so on and so forth. So, you know, 5 or 6 cloves of garlic. I like more, but not everybody is. Some people don't like vampires. So, shallots, which I already chopped up a little bit. I'm not putting as much shallot into it as a normal dish because I'm going to put some green onions in as well. Here, I actually have a celery heart, and I like how it goes bitter to sweet in the celery heart. And then I have a little poblano pepper here that we're going to spice it up just a touch, and we can add in or take away or whatever. But if we're cooking with an olive oil, we'll use one. But for something like this, where it's going to go without being heated,
extra virgin.
That's right, absolutely. And so I'm going to start a little bit just to kind of give it a little bit of lubrication and make it wet so that everything chops up.
Okay.
But we're probably going to end up with, you know, a few tablespoons of olive oil. Now as that spins, I'm going to continue to add olive oil until we get it to the consistency that we're looking for. So you can see as it continues to liquefy, it's just a little bit looser than that. Okay, so that looks good. So Pecorino Romano, and I'm going to put it in just as so. I'm going to wait to season the sauce until after I add the cheese.
Okay.
And the reason for that is Pecorino is kind of a salty cheese, right? So as we put it in, we're going to rely on it to be somewhat of the seasoning for the sauce, and then we'll season after.
You can already see it thickening up.
Yeah. Let's open it up.
This is when you want to have smell-o-vision.
That
looks really good.
That smells quite nice.
So with this piece of swordfish, I brought it to you like this because it was pre-frozen. I always keep the skin on when I package fish.
Yep.
Because you just cut it off and it preserves the meat a little better.
That's right.
And there's not a lot of bloodline in a swordfish, so it's really easy to clean. This piece right here is pretty much the only part you have to take out.
Yep.
This is actually one of my dad's favorite fish. He said he would take a swordfish steak over a beef steak.
I love swordfish, and you know, there's not much loss there.
No.
I think you pointed out earlier, it has a really nice, really good yield. Swordfish has high yield.
And it freezes well, too.
It does, yeah. To portion it, just cut it straight down the middle. So I have this this rub, or this seasoning that I kind of like. It has Calabrian chili in it. It has kosher salt. It's a touch spicy. It's also earthy. It's got black garlic in it, which is kind of unique. And I also put a little bit of its powder version apple cider vinegar.
Okay.
And it adds a little tartness to it.
So we are going to put these steaks on the grill, let them cook up. Our sword is on the grill. It's ready to come off. Plate this up and make it pretty for us.
Okay, so I made a little orzo dish here. It's something nice for the summer and springtime when you have fresh vegetables coming up. Heirloom tomatoes, asparagus tips and spears, and then some edamame in there as well.
Kind of salivating already. This looks amazing.
There's our swordfish steaks. Let me just take a little bit of the salsa verde. Kind of drizzle it over the top. And it's okay if you get the salsa verde in with the pasta, it actually kind of mellows it out a little bit.
So if you want to catch a swordfish and cook this, just come over to Southern Catch Outfitters, we'll hook you up.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, let's give it a try.
Ooh, it's nice. Looks good.
Perfect.
Oh my gosh.
That's so good. So what would you call this dish?
Creation.
Swordfish salsa verde.
There you go. That's right.
All right, let's go finish this up.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
In 1967, Dutch Stogner realized his dream to run his own meat market. 50 years and 3 generations later, Double D and the Stogner family still operate with Dutch's original commitment to quality. Pick up some Double D sausage today and share your good times with us on Facebook.
You're watching Bayou TV, award-winning outdoor programming. follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or visit the website BayouWildTV.com to watch past episodes.
The cool thing about, I think, one reason I like swords so much is that they're a pelagic species that's caught around the globe. I mean, we hear of them caught, you know, down in Australia is a huge spot, New Zealand, but
they make fun of our fish over here.
Oh yeah, they think ours are tiny, but it's just a different fishery. But what's really exciting to me is when people go somewhere new that hasn't really, they haven't explored the fishery for it. The West Coast is a prime example because they've been commercial fishing there for years, but there's very few charters over there that actually go looking for them because it's so new with their landscape. They're not fishing the same, you know, bottom structures that we are.
And it took a long time. South America's been fishing in the day way before we were. So, and now like day fishing for swordfish, what is that all about? And I remember we would see them swimming sometimes and they wouldn't eat.
Yeah.
But they'd be on the surface.
Right.
And nobody was fishing them at depth.
At the bottom, where
during
they
the day,
feed, yeah.
And now everybody's fishing them at depth.
It's been a game changer, definitely.
Both Cathy and Inga have a deep respect for nature and the broadbill swordfish.
I have seen an increase in women getting on boats. And it's like any other industry. They're breaking the barrier. My advice to people is that don't worry about what other people think. There's always people around that'll teach you. You don't have to know it all. Experience is what teaches you.
The time and effort taken to acquire such a trophy and immortalize its memory, while appreciating adventure, sportsmanship, and heritage, are what make both women what we consider Bayou Wild.